The year's final major, the US Open, is here, and there are many unknowns on the women's side. Can defending champion Coco Gauff put this recent stretch of poor form behind her to make another deep run in Flushing Meadows? Will Iga Swiatek and other top contenders overcome the fatigue of the grueling 2024 calendar? And can title favorite Aryna Sabalenka keep her composure and add another major to her collection? The women's draw is packed with early blockbuster matchups, and they might just hold the answers to these burning questions. Hey, my name is Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not yet already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you join Christian's crew. We'd love to have you, and also so you're notified whenever I post more updates throughout the year's final major. Before I get into the draw itself, I want to highlight the projected quarterfinal matchups. So there's first Iga Swiatek against Jessica Pegula, and then Rybakina and Jasmine Paolini, Barbora Krejcikova, then Coco Gauff, and finally a rematch of this year's Australian Open final between Zheng and Aryna Sabalenka. The top-seeded Swiatek will start against a qualifier, and she could face Daria Saville in the second round, followed by Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in the third, Ludmila Samsonova in the fourth, Jessica Pegula in the quarters, Rybakina in the semis, and Aryna Sabalenka in the final. I think that Iga should be able to get through this first week no problem, to be honest. Pavlyuchenkova, she played well in Cincinnati, making the quarterfinals, but I think that she is just no match for Iga. The woman who troubled Iga a lot in Cincinnati is Mira Andreeva in that bottom part of the section. She could play her Iga in the fourth round, although Andreeva would likely have to get by Ludmila Samsonova first in the third round, although Samsonova would need to watch out for DC finalist Marie Boskova. Zheng is there, and she currently has the longest losing streak in tennis history at 22, and clearly she's trying to extend her record, which I think she will. Between her and Samsonova, I think Andreeva is going to be the more reliable one to come through and make the second week. She enjoys the slam stage much more than Samsonova does, and she just has a better draw, and so I'm going to be putting the 17-year-old through into the fourth round to play Iga. If they do play, I don't see it being as close as it was in Cincinnati, and I think that Iga would have learned a lot from that match, and thus I pick her to make the quarterfinals. Now, looking at Jessica Pegula's draw, up top is Danielle Collins, who is playing her final slam tournament. Danielle has an interesting opener in her compatriot, Caroline Dolehide, who had a solid summer in reaching the semifinals of the DC 500. Danielle is likely to face Princess Diana Schneider in the third round, who has had an unbelievable summer as she's won a few titles and she got some good wins, like beating the world number 2 Coco Gauff in Toronto. If she does play Schneider, that one might be tough for Collins, who is making her way back from, I think, an abdominal injury, and she suffered an early round loss to Erica Andreeva in Monterrey a couple days ago. The bottom part of this section has one of the hottest players at the moment in Jessica Pegula, who won Toronto and made the finals of Cincinnati. Pegula is guaranteed to face a slam champion in either Sofia Kenin or Emma Raducanu, who will face off in the first round. Raducanu has only played one single tournament since making the Wimbledon fourth round, where she made the Elite 8 in the DC 500. Kenin lost early in the hardcourt leadership events that she's played in, but she does perform better on the bigger stages. But still, I favor the more solid and more informed Raducanu. A Raducanu-Pegula matchup would be tough, and the Brit did beat Pegula this summer on the grass to earn her first career top 10 win. I could definitely see an upset there, but I think the American crowd would pull JPEG through that one, so I am picking the 6th seed to advance through and also make the second week. I also have Danielle Collins coming through to make the second week too, and I think that Princess Diana, I think she will be too tired from all the tennis that she's played lately. In this hypothetical Collins and Pegula matchup, I'm actually going to go with Danielle here and make the quarterfinals, and I just sense that really she's really going to bring it and bring her all, with this being her very final slam tournament. And I think that she'll just go out guns a-blazing, even though the head-to-head against Pegula, she's never really beaten Pegula on the tour, but I think that that can definitely change here. Also, I do think that Pegula might be a little bit tired with all the tennis that she's played the past 3 or so weeks. Fourth seed Aryna Rybakina will start against a qualifier, and she could play Zheng in the second round, Caroline Garcia in the third round, Anna Kalinskaya in the fourth, Jasmine Paolini in the quarterfinals, Iga in the semis, and Aryna in the final. There are a lot of question marks surrounding Rybakina. She's only played one single match since Wimbledon, where she fell in the opening round in the Cincinnati Open to Leylah Fernandez after holding multiple match points. And then there really have not been any pictures or any videos of her practicing on the grounds of the US Open, which is not a great sign. And that's honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she did withdraw from the tournament before the tournament started, as that's been a common theme with her this season especially. Also, y'all, while I was recording this video, there's news that broke that Aryna Rybakina and her longtime coach Stefano Vukov split. She announced the news on her Instagram story. She said basically after 5 years of working together, we're no longer going to be working together. So that's definitely an interesting development, and it makes me wonder even more about her prospects of even competing at this year's US Open. So wishing her all the best. I do think her draw is very, very solid though. Mertens was there potentially to face her in the second round, but with the withdrawal of Ons Jabeur, Mertens got moved down to replace her in Aryna Sabalenka's section. So really Rybakina's section, she has a dream draw, to be honest. Garcia has not played since the Olympics, and she's not in great form at all right now, and neither is Caroline Wozniacki. Anna Kalinskaya is at the bottom, and she could face Beatrice Haddad-Maia in the third round, but Bia has struggled all season, and I really could see Elena Avanesian come through and have another edgy slam second week run. This is by far the most mid and uninteresting section of the entire draw. Nobody here is in great form, and I don't see anyone truly walking away with the title, and that's including Rybakina, who has never made it past the second week at the US Open in her career. This could be a big major opportunity for Rybakina, but I'm just not confident in her even competing and completing the tournament, so I'll go ahead with Anna Kalinskaya, the highest ranked opponent here, to make the quarterfinals. Moving away from that snooze fest of a section, Jasmine Paolini's part is absolutely loaded. At the top is the most intriguing first round matchup of the entire tournament, and that's between two big ball striking slam champions, Jelena Ostapenko and Naomi Osaka. This one will be tough to predict because Osaka is higher ranked and has had more success this year, but she's unpredictable and has not played well these past few events. Osaka's kind of similar. She's low-key all over the place with her form, and I expect her to play better though, since she plays better against higher ranked opponents on bigger stages. Osaka is not in the best part of her career by any means, and she's coming off a qualifying loss in Cincinnati, but I think the two-time US Open champ will showcase some better tennis on Ash, and I'm going to be picking her to progress to the second round. Now, Jelena and Naomi really have the worst US Open draws by far. It's not even close, as they be projected to face slam finalists in each preceding round in this event. The winner of that Osaka-Ostapenko clash could face 2023 Roland Garros finalist Karolina Muchova, followed by 2021 US Open finalist Leylah Fernandez, although Leylah has a tricky opening round opponent herself, and Anastasia Potapova. Jasmine Paolini's draw is not great either, as she would have to play Bianca Andreescu for the third consecutive slam, and she beat BB in the third rounds of Roland Garros and Wimbledon in straight sets this year. Andreescu hasn't looked great recently, so I think that Jasmine really shouldn't struggle too much. Paolini will likely play Karolina Pliskova in the second round, followed by 38th seed Yulia Putintseva, who has a tricky opening round against Linda Noskova. Jasmine has proven that she is a big tournament player, making back-to-back slam finals, so I think that she does have a good shot at progressing amidst the toughness of this draw. I was going to make an edgy pick of having Naomi take this section, but then I remembered that Karolina Muchova is a likely second round opponent for Osaka, and the Czech woman, not only I think her game would really trouble Osaka, but I think she has been in solid form lately, and I think that she is primed for a good run here. Between my hypothetical Muchova and Paolini fourth round matchup, I am going to go with Muchova to progress through to the quarterfinals. Speaking of Czech women, Barbora Krejcikova's section is also a bit interesting. The Wimbledon champ could play Paula Badosa in the third round, who is in superior form, winning DC and making the Cincinnati semifinals. Krejcikova has not played a single match on hard courts since February as she skipped the North American hard court tournaments, so my expectations for her are pretty low. Taylor Townsend is a dangerous floater here for me. She's had a good stretch of form on the hard courts this summer. Still, I think Badosa is the most solid of these players in this entire section, and I'll have her progress through to the quarterfinals. But before I even move on, I want to mention the bottom part of this section, which is pretty weak, to be honest. There is a possible Azarenka-Sloane Stephens meeting in the second round, but Sloane has been in a slump for a minute, while Vika suffered from an injury in Toronto, forcing her to miss Cincinnati. Maria Sakkari also missed Cincy, and she has not played since the Olympics. She'll be looking to make her first slam second week since the 2022 Australian Open, and this is a good opportunity for her to do so, but I do not know if she can overcome the mental hump. But as I said again, Badosa is the clear pick here, but I would not be surprised if Taylor came through as well, and maybe even perhaps Victoria Azarenka if she is healthy. Coco Gauff will start her title defense against Varvara Gracheva and could then face Tatiana Maria in round 2, Elena Svitolina in the 3rd, Emma Navarro in the 4th round, Barbora Krejcikova in the quarters, Sabalenka in the semis, and Swiatek in the final. I think that Coco has the toughest draw out of the top 4 seeds, but it's really not terrible. It is doable, but it mainly appears tough to me because she is not in great form right now. I could see Svitolina being a challenge for Gauff in the 3rd round, not to mention Navarro. She beat her in Wimbledon this year, and she clearly has the game to trouble her. Navarro is, of course, the potential 4th round opponent for Gauff. Kostyuk is also a potential 4th round opponent, and she beat Coco in 2024 in Stuttgart. That potential Navarro-Kostyuk 3rd round is intriguing to me because the two had a tight round of 16 match in Toronto, which the American took 7-5, 7-5. I will side with Emma again in that matchup if those two face off, as she would have the edge in having the home crowd advantage. Marta does need to watch out for another American in McCartney Kessler, who is currently in the Cleveland semifinals. To be honest, I'm not confident at all in Coco's chances because simply her form has been pretty bad as of the last few months. She lost early in Toronto and Cincinnati, playing poorly, and I think that it's more of a mental thing than anything. She did go back home after the Cincinnati loss to reset a bit, so hopefully that helped. However, though, I think the pressure and weight being on her as the defending champion will be too much, as well as this little slump too. So I will have Navarro make her 2nd consecutive slam week here. Now, perhaps Emma Navarro's biggest op, Qinwen Zheng, has a very difficult opening match facing American Amanda Anisimova, who reached the finals in Toronto. I think Amanda has a good shot at getting this upset. I do not anticipate Qinwen having the best form after that gold medal run in Paris. I could sense some fatigue from her. And the draw, I think, overall just has a lot of opportunity. Diana Yastremska, a seed, is not in good form, and neither is Daria Kasatkina at the bottom. Olympic silver medalist Donna Vekic could very much prevail and have another deep run at a slam, but I'm going to go with Peyton Stearns to reach back-to-back US Open second weeks. She has looked solid this summer, and I have a strong feeling that she could make a lot of noise in this slam. In fact, I'm going to have a wild, edgy 4th round pick with 2 Americans, Anisimova and Stearns, face off, with Amanda winning to make the Elite 8. And last but not least, Cincinnati Open champion Aryna Sabalenka will start against a qualifier and could face Wimbledon's Cinderella story Lulu soon, followed by Ekaterina Alexandrova in the 3rd round, Madison Keys in the 4th, Qinwen Zheng in the quarters, Coco in the semis, and Iga in the final. I think that Big Lenka will be very happy with her draw. Ekaterina Alexandrova, she is a good player, but she does not play her best tennis at a slam. She only has 1 slam second week appearance to her name. Lulu Sun, another solid player, of course, but I do not think that she will be a match for Sabalenka, especially on this big stage. Madison Keys, she nearly did beat Aryna Sabalenka in the semifinal here last year at the Open, but the American is still recovering from that horrible, nasty Wimbledon injury, and I do not think that she'll be as much of a threat to the Belarusian in her current physical shape. Sabalenka has made it to the second week of every major that she has played in since the 2022 US Open, and I do not see that streak being broken here. Now, transitioning to my predictions, I have Iga and Karolina Muchova facing off for a rematch of the 2023 Roland Garros semifinal, and then besties Badosa and Sabalenka. And in the final, I have the big blockbuster championship match between number 1 and number 2, which would be a rematch of the Cincinnati Open semifinals. And I have the same winner coming through here, and Aryna Sabalenka coming through and taking the title. Now, time to address my snubs. First, in the Iga part, there are the two Russians, and Mira and Lumila. Both are solid players who can, I think, test Iga for sure, especially Samsonova if she happens to come through there. I think that if Samsonova does manage to make the fourth round, Iga needs to watch out for sure. Lumila, even though she is projected to go that far, it's just kind of a big ask as when you consider her poor track record in slams. Pegula, I think that's probably the biggest and most silly snub, to be honest. I admit it might be a very stupid and foolish decision, especially considering how well she has been playing lately. But first of all, that Raducanu second round could be tough. Plus, with all the tennis that she has played lately, it might catch up to her. And then the same thing with Jana Schneider. She might be too tired. Addressing the snubs in that Mukova part, first, Aryna Rybakina, on paper it is a big snub, but I think that my reasons are, valid. Hopefully she is 100% healthy, but for some reason I just feel like she is not, and I would be surprised really if she came through this tournament healthy and she competed all the way through. I hate to say it like that. And then Naomi Osaka, as I mentioned before, I was low-key close to having her come through to make the quarterfinals, and I think that she can come through and shock us all, despite her draw being brutally tough. But I just think that Mukova is the slightly better pick in my opinion. Same thing with Ostapenko. Just that whole section, there's a lot of snubs, and really any of these women can come through. And talking about that Paolini section, including, of course, Paolini herself, but I'm just going to stick with Mukova, and if I have egg on my face for that pick, then so be it. I don't care. Then with the Badosa part, I think that Badosa is a very good pick, to be honest. I don't feel like I have to defend myself too much. Kostyuk and Svitolina, the two Ukrainians, could come through there too. And then Coco, of course, the defending champion. Perhaps one thing I overlooked when talking about her initially is the factor of having the overwhelming crowd support. That's something that she used to her big favor and advantage last year in her run to the title. And really, to me, it's her biggest asset. I think if she can tap into that, she can perhaps go on a run here. And then lastly, the final three snubs here are Qinwen Zheng, Donna Vekic, and Madison Keys. I just don't think that any of those players will be there instead of in Sabalenka's place. It's just simple as that, to be honest. Vekic, she does have a winning head-to-head actually over Aryna, but I do not think that the Croatian will even make it that far. And then addressing why I decided to choose Aryna Sabalenka, it's really just a clear pick for me. She has a good draw. She has had excellent showings in slams the past 2 years or so, and she really always brings it in the majors. She also really enjoys the conditions here at New York, it seems. She's made the semifinals or better at the US Open since 2021. She also has a big advantage in being better rested and skipping both Wimbledon and the Olympics. I feel like a lot of players will be very, very gassed here. And Iga, she mentioned at the Cincinnati Open how she has struggled too with how much tennis she has played this season, going deep in practically every tournament that she's played in this year. We simply cannot underestimate the good that it will do to Aryna skipping those two big tournaments. Perhaps one of the biggest factors, though, is Sabalenka, I think, will be peaking nicely for this tournament. She did not play well at all in DC. She started to play better in Toronto, and then she fully hit her stride at Cincinnati, playing great tennis. And I think that it really is it's her time. To me, the biggest obstacles are, one, Iga Swiatek, and two, her own self, and making sure that she does not self-destruct out there. Regarding Iga, Swiatek is not playing her best tennis at all right now. She's not playing great, and I might have been giving her too much and having her even make it to this final stage. I would not be surprised at all if she was upset earlier. That's mainly due to, of course, her form and potential burnout with her and all the tennis that she has played, but I do think her draw is good enough to where she can sneak through and make the final. Still, I think that Sabalenka will be able to pull it through and pull it together and control it for her third major singles title. Do you agree with me having Sabalenka take the title in Flushing, or will another woman etch their name on the women's trophy? Comment below your own predictions, and make sure you again subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my men's US Open preview. Thank you again so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see y'all next time here on Christian's Court.